Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin True, and joining me today, he's excited that his Dodgers beat the AA Mets and are about to play the AAA Yankees in the World Series. It's Justin Hausman!
You were really giving it all this morning on the.
I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to watch the Yankees lose. Is what I'm pumped up to
okay,
do.
Cool. That's great. That's good to hear. Thanks. Thank you. You
don't have any fear. Like, you have no fear, right?
I don't. I actually don't know enough about the Yankees to have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, they suck. They beat the Royals and the Guardians.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they have a lot of really large players on their team, like hugely tall, strong gentlemen on that team.
I don't know. I watched Juan Soto down here in San Diego for a full season.
Well,
he's
not one I was thinking of, but the Aaron Judge. And Giancarlo Stanton are real huge.
I think Judge is scary. I think Stanton is, he's hits home runs at the times that, like, he's not clutch. Let's just say.
I don't understand why I have to wait until Friday for the first game. Why is there a
is that when the first game is?
This is like an insanely long road. What the hell am I supposed to do for the next 5 days?
You think MLB would be like, let's have the games every day the NFL is not playing?
It's wild.
And that's our schedule.
Talking about baseball too with someone here who isn't really a baseball enthusiast. This is rude.
Well, that's true, because we also have joining us a surprise third chair host here on the Rock Fight today. He fully admits that he sucks at everything in the outdoors, but we know one thing he doesn't suck at, and that's coming on the Rock Fight. Joining us for a record 6th time, it's Paddy O'Connell!
Hello, everybody. And listen, I'm psyched to be here. I do like baseball, but I'm a Cubs fan, so it's kind of well, do I like baseball?
Yeah.
It could be worse. You could be a White Sox fan.
Oh, God.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Never.
Yeah, I apologize, Patty. I didn't
Being a White Sox fan is just a great way to show up to Comiskey and see two pipe fitters from the South Side wrestle over the last churro. It's not a fun time.
I'd rather watch that than a White Sox game.
Honestly, yeah, actually.
But Patty already had his championship. He's got Caleb Williams in his life for the next 20 years.
It's true. It's true.
Right?
I'm focusing on the Bears right now. I'm focusing on ski season.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, boys. I'm glad to be here.
It's glad to have you back.
Yeah, number 6. I need a trophy. I need a jacket.
We talked about a trophy before, Colin. I feel like this is on you.
No, they're being manufactured. There's delays out of China.
What do you think you call a place that makes trophies? Surely a place that makes trophies has a name, right? Like, it has to have a name. It's not a trophy maker, like a haberdasher or a cobbler. There's got to be a weird name for a trophy maker.
I think it's called a trofler.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys have a trofler in your town?
I'm sure.
I'm always going to call a trophy place a trofler from now on.
Have you been to the trofler? Have you seen the trofler today, boys? Yeah,
it's just like a place with a bunch of bins from Container Store filled with little plastic golden soccer players and baseball players and whatever.
Yeah,
and some guy just pulls one out and just glues it to a fake marble pedestal.
Yeah.
Could also be a weird villain in a horror film where he takes people and makes them into trophies. He's the
trofler.
In
a world.
Is that a thing
I'd watch
yet?
that movie.
Yeah, perfect.
But before we get into some headlines that we're going to run through today with PaddyO, we had a few housekeeping items, some programming reminders for you. We want you to please follow and rate the Rock Fight wherever you're listening on any podcast app. If you just touch that little follow button, guys, and leave us that 5-star rating, really helps us out. Also, you got to make sure you're listening to Gear and Beer. It's our other podcast here on the Rock Fight Podcast Network. Justin and I host that one too. You can find it wherever you're listening to the Rock Fight, so you should follow that pod as well. And now my friend Justin is going to tell you how you can reach out to the show.
Is this where I do it? Is this where I go?
This is the part.
Okay.
We got Patty do it. Should we have Patty do this part?
No. Patty can't read. If you can email us at myrockfight@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to send us an email, because that is our email address. You can go to our Instagram account, which is rockfightco. And you can leave a comment. You can do whatever you want. Follow us there, though. And then if you would, we would love for you to sign up for our newsletter. It's a weekly newsletter that Colin puts together. And the mailing list sign up is right there on our homepage, which is rockfight.co.
Nice job, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, let's get into our lead topic today, which, as you can probably tell, is season 2 of PaddyO Sucks At. Congratulations, buddy. You made it to season 2.
Oh, thank you very much. I made it through season 2. It was pretty difficult.
That's a good point.
Honestly, it was very emotionally and physically demanding this season.
Well, we'll get to season 3 if that's going to happen. Like, what's left to do? But I mean, yeah, I binged through it. I watched and watching them kind of back to back.
Yeah.
You were in a lot of pain for season 2. Like season 1 felt like it's like, hey, here are the fun things you like. Rock climbing, that's challenging, but it's still like whatever, right? And then fly fishing and all these things. Everything you did in season 2, I feel like is there an exception? I mean, surfing was probably fun, but even then that comes with its own set of challenges when you're a beginner surfer, right? So, how did season 2 come together? Like what talk us through like what you decided to feature?
Well, it's funny, like, season 1, like you said, was kind of like, hey, what are the outdoor sports that PaddyO has either talked himself out of doing or wants to be introduced to. And season 2 was like, hey, Paddy, can you hold on for dear life during this terrible endurance challenge? That was it. And we didn't set out to do that purposely. It kind of just like happened naturally that every episode turned into be this like epic endurance challenge. It's just last January we started, the pre-production conversations of like what sports we wanted to feature, what kind of characters we wanted to feature, how and where we wanted to do things. And it kind of just happened naturally that these sports came out. And I would say, my ibuprofen consumption was pretty wild, as was my like Kleenex consumption to wipe up all my tears because it was hard. This season was physically, mentally, emotionally demanding. But I love it so much. I mean, we were able to do a bunch of things that were super cool. And, kind of like behind the scenes, it's like I turned 40 and I was kind of having this weird feeling about being 40 and being an athlete and like, oh, what does that mean? Like, can I still do rad stuff? And because of this season, primarily, like I've done so many cool things this year that I'm super psyched on. So yeah, it's been great. It's been really great. And the audience response has been really awesome too, which is always a nice little thing.
Can we run through the sports that you picked up for season 2?
Well, snowboarding, ski-mo, surfing.
That one I know.
That one was really, really hard. Bike packing, ultra running, and what is the 6th? What am I forgetting here?
Did you do a triathlon?
Oh, and triathlon. God. Oh God.
You know what?
Well, there's probably a reason why I forgot that.
You probably handled the triathlon better, the best of all of them. Like
you think so? Like, oh, that's kind.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you clearly were suffering in all of them. I want to get to some specific stuff too, but like when you finished the try, I mean, it was challenging, of course, but it's just like the sprint try is pretty manageable. And that was of all these sort of, and I know you trained for your ultra, but of all these sports, if you're like off the couch, the one you probably feel, if you're reasonably fit, you'll make it through a sprint try.
What's a sprint try? How far is that?
So it's like 750 meter open ocean swim, into 12-mile bike into a 5K.
And that's over like a month? You get like a month to do all that's over like a month.
He's doing the third leg next week.
Totally. Yeah, you take a couple weeks off in between each one. The transitions are super long.
You see energy food though, like power food the entire time.
The only thing you're allowed to eat the entire time is either gulps of ocean water and goose. So, I mean, I feel like with any kind of human who has like a reasonable amount of fitness or likes to spend their time outdoors, you can go ahead and like do that. Yeah. But it was brutal. Yeah, it's brutal.
So
where was that? Where was that one? Was that Southern California?
That was in Long Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
Cali. Okay. Yeah. So that was pretty brutal. Like I grew up swimming and like I am a porpoise in the water, but like I didn't train to not be tired in the water. And so I got my ass handed to me. At one point I like flipped over and I was like, oh my God, like just doing like kind of like a tadpole, swim on my back. And I got all dizzy because I like, didn't have any point of reference. So I flipped back over, literally swallowed like a couple pint glasses worth of ocean water in Long Beach. So I'm finishing the swim freestyle, like into the beach and like dry heaving into the water. And I'm going into the bike transition, dry heaving. It was like not awesome.
There's a fair amount of heaving in a few of the episodes.
Yes, that's kind of the subplot of season 2 is like PaddyO dry heaves in the outdoors.
Have you guys actually
spin-off series?
Have you guys actually puked from physical exertion? I've never done that.
Yes.
You have? Yeah.
I have.
Colin?
Yeah.
No, I've definitely gotten some retching.
I've gotten close.
Some long
yeah, but I've never
training,
just straight up like finished a run and just barf.
Yeah. I've had friends who like 10 miles in, like if they're ready, if it's a hot day, they'll just start puking, on a run or something like that.
It was just terrifying to be around because you're like, that's not good.
Is this a defense mechanism? Are you like a skunk?
Yeah,
like,
your body is like, sit down, stop moving, please. You know, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's not great. It's not great. So
I think we asked you this last time, and I don't remember what you said. When I said last time, I mean when we talked about season 1. But
yeah.
So which of these sports would you like keep in your bag going forward?
I mean, probably honestly, this is
you can't say all of them.
I was gonna say all of them.
No.
I mean, because I know there's my ability to go.
Well, so which one are you more likely to incorporate? Because you obviously don't live anywhere near the ocean. So
yeah, probably trail running. I mean, I've been so in love with surfing, like since I was like a little kid doing, cannonballs in the local pool where I grew up outside of Chicago. So that was like really, really rewarding, and to be there with this like childhood hero of mine, Cassia Metter.
Yeah, that was amazing that you'd like seen her and step into liquid or whatever.
It was like so burned into my skull, like this human, this smile and this laughter, and then I'm sitting in the ocean with her, and like dolphins are like undulating around us, and I'm like, what is my luck? Are you kidding? This is what I get to do for a job. This is hilarious and wonderful. I mean, probably, maybe like a smaller version of bike packing I'll stick with, something a little more accessible than just getting absolutely destroyed.
Did Doozer pick the route?
It was Doozer and the director, yeah, and it was just like I got so sandbagged on the first day.
Dude, it almost broke me. Plains in eastern Colorado, and dirt roads, like just go do why they
or something small, like I'm gonna do like a 20-mile loop over 2 days, rather than 75 over a day and a half or 2 days. And like the first day was just climbing from Boulder to Nederland uphill all day for like 8 hours or something. It was so awful. It was so brutal. That was like one of the worst days I've had outside ever. Luckily, Doozer is super fun to hang out with. And a really nice, funny guy, so that helped. But I was just like, I'm so sweaty, and all I want is chimichanga. And then I shoved chimichanga in my face, and then I was like, I'm gonna barf up chimichanga everywhere. Like, oh god, I'm filled to my Adam's apple with like fried tortilla, beef, and
I might throw
cream.
up right now. Actually,
it was tough. But probably the thing that's like most accessible around here, where I live in the Roaring Fork Valley, is trail running. And that was, the Ultra episode was the most rewarding of all of them, both like the actual doing of the thing and working on the edit in post-production.
What about snowboarding?
Well, that's the one I want to talk about. That's where you're a liar and you would do it again, because like there's no way you would do it again.
I haven't watched that episode, so I have no idea what happened.
I do want to try it again because I got so destroyed and didn't make it off the bunny hill. And I actually like my back seized up because I took all these like car wreck crashes, and I'm 250 pounds. That's a lot of man meat hitting the snow over and over again. I probably fell anywhere between 60 to 75 times over 3 days. And I actually had a bulged disc. That's what I found. I went to the doctor. I went to my doctor like a couple days after because I was like, dude, my back is messed up.
This is why I'm not learning snowboarding.
It was tough. So I do want to go like back and try it again because I was starting to really get it, and then my back seized up, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're done here. Like I can't move.
So you mentioned the Ultra as being kind of the one, and that's like, and that one. I mean, a couple of the episodes. I mean, you were you definitely shared some pretty personal stories. Did that just come out through the nature of the sport itself, or was that intentional to kind of like share more about your history, your personal history, and things like that?
I mean, it was both of those things. I think that in pre-production, what we wanted to do was, in any host-driven show, you want the audience to like give a shit about what's happening to the person that they're watching. And so in season 2, we did want to kind of like let people, into my own world a little bit more. But I think something like Ultra, one of the reasons why I really love endurance sports is because of where it takes you emotionally. And that for sure comes out in the Ultra episode, which which really, felt more like we were making a short film than an episode for the season, because we broke away from the conceit. Typically it's like, okay, can Paddy go from 0 to hero in a 3-day span? Well, you can't do that with an ultra marathon, because that's a great way for PaddyO sucks at not crying on his way to the hospital, because he showed up for a 40-mile trail run with no training and exploded. So, we spent 5 months filming me doing my own 5-month training block. Part of the reason that I wanted to do this was because I turned 40. Partly it was to celebrate going into, my 11th year of recovery from alcoholism and drug addiction, and a celebration of these things rather than oh man, this is just super hard out here. I wanted to do something tough to remind me of the tough things that I've done before, to bolster that kind of mental, emotional, spiritual muscle. If I can continue to do tough things, and I can continue to do tough physical things in the mountains, even as a 40-year-old dude. So that one was super rewarding, really hard, but definitely I think is my favorite, not just of this season, but of the entire series.
It's up for the best episode. I would say just overall.
Oh,
you guys accomplished. I'll give the credit to the production team and yourself too. And the story you tell in a 22-minute episode.
Yeah.
So you get to the point when you are in those low places, and you're kind of you're admitting the strength you're drawing on from your road through recovery and all these things. It was really emotional. It really was. I mean, you hit the mark, and it really helped. I mean, it, obviously told the story, but also, we learned a lot more about you. And I mean, and maybe I'm biased because I've done ultra marathons too, so I kind of know those low moments in those races, and it's unlike anything else. But you do pull a lot out of it too. And when you cross the finish line, it was so great. That was where it was cool to be near home. And see a lot of folks that you knew. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was really special for me personally, and gratifying for me personally, the whole experience of training and finally doing the last bit, which is the last 40 miles. But the 5 months previous of doing it all, it brings out a lot, I think, during the actual effort. And then envisioning this thing for 5 months of running into my wife's arms, and envisioning that, for the 5 months of training, and then for the 40-mile effort from, running from Crested Butte to Aspen, was super powerful. And I was hopeful that came through in the episode. And I, from what I've heard from the audience, is that it did. And that, that's really gratifying to make something that's hey, this is a personal thing, and to try to make it a universal thing in the telling of the story, and for that to resonate with folks is super powerful and really gratifying. So I'm psyched that people seem to really like that episode. And, it makes the 5 months of training, the 5 months of filming and thinking about it, all really worth it.
Well, and our audience can't see you because clearly, you're, what are you up to, 450, 500 pounds? You haven't done anything since.
I have not. I literally I have gone on a couple runs. I've gone to the gym a couple times, a couple bike rides, mostly a lot of walks, but I also just came back from 10 days in the Midwest. So I think 5 months of training was completely negated by 10 days.
How many Italian beef sandwiches did you have?
Oh, I was brushing my teeth with bratwurst. It was ridiculous. It was just every day I had cake. I think it was great.
Yeah. All right. It's time. It's time for our weekly segment to make sure you are getting more out of the outdoors, because it's time for more with Thermore. Hey guys, you know what's great? Staying warm on a cold, cold day. And you know what else is great? Brands who make amazing and interesting garments to help you stay warm on a cold, cold day. And that's why today we're featuring the women's Apex insulated quilted joggers from Lole. I think you say it Lole. I'm going to say it Lole. But they've added the umlaut to Lole, so you know it's good. I mean, it worked for Motley Crue, so it should work for Lole too, right? That's how you know it's a good brand.
Oh yeah, very much.
So these Lole, the Motley Crue of outdoor apparel.
Honestly, I think there's something there.
There's something there, right?
That's right. Smoking in the groover.
Yes. Actually, there you go. There's our next Rock Fight article.
Right.
Like, you know, Motley Crue songs as outdoor brands.
Yeah, smoking
Just
in
randomly.
the smoking in the outhouse. That works
right.
too.
What's girls? Is it, you know, shoes?
Probably.
Yeah, right. These sleek and quilted joggers have an amazing look and a fit that will keep you warm and in style. They are water repellent and feature the added convenience of waterproof zippers on the back of each leg. But the best feature of all is what will be working to keep you warm, which is Thermore EcoDown. Made from 100% post-consumer plastic bottles, EcoDown is the vegan and sustainable alternative to down feathers and the main active ingredient in the Lole Apex insulated quilted jogger, which you can find for $129 over on lolelife.com. And you can learn more about Thermore EcoDown by heading to thermore.com. Because whether it's making amazing new garments or staying warm and safe out on the trail, you can do more with Thermore. Well, let's get into some headlines. Patty's going to sit in with us on some headlines come out of the outdoor adventure community that come out of the past couple of weeks here. The first one we have, per some just weird writing rando on National Parks Traveler last month, Ultrarunner Michelino Sunseri made headlines in the endurance community by setting the FKT, which is the fastest known time, on the Owen Spalding route on the Grand Teton, a 12-mile, 7,000-foot route that is also rated as a 5.4 rock climb, given the technical nature of the route. Since then, it was discovered that he cut a switchback, which is forbidden by the National Park Service, and doing so comes with a $5,000 fine or 6 months in jail if you're caught doing that. And now rangers from Grand Teton National Park have formally charged Sunseri for cutting the switchback because of how public this story has become. And Justin Hausman is indeed that writing rando who published a story on National Parks Traveler. So, Justin, what else? This just went up today. This is almost like breaking news for us here. So, what else can you tell us about what's happening in Wyoming?
I mean, there's not a lot else out there other than in the piece I talked. It sounds like rangers are kind of fed up with people using Teton as like a racetrack to do their own sort of personal, whatever influencer, FKT, whatever we're calling self-promotion things these days. And so I guess like Kilian Jornet did the same thing in 2012. And didn't get charged with anything. At least I don't think so. But that sounds like that's what spurred the Park Service to put up a bunch of signs like "Do not cut these switchbacks." I guess like the switchbacks they cut are in. I've never climbed the Teton or really hiked, or the Grand Teton or hiked much of it at all. So, but it sounds like the area where the switchbacks are like pretty big switchbacks, and it's kind of an obvious thing to cut. And so people probably want to anyway. And it just sounds like they were particularly peeved at like the size of, because like the North Face. He's the North Face athlete, so that they're like just crushing it on social, trying to get their word out, and it's like, well, okay, but he can't really have you guys doing this. And so it sounds like Sunseri's kind of taking the fall for something that the Park Service has probably wanted to do for a long time, which is like a little like slap on the wrist to influencers and anybody else like filming their own content out in places like this. I mean, there's already kind of a gray area issue thing with like, you're not really allowed to go film like footage in national parks if it's commercial, and it's like, well, the North Face is sending it's not just the North Face, but like they're sending their photographers and athletes out and like, kind of just like sort of exploiting the gray area. And so I think the, Park Service isn't stoked on that. And I was surprised at the size of the fine. I mean, $5,000 or 6 months in jail. Like, wow. That's a pretty big deal.
I think you should do the jail time. That's a FKT that I want to see happen. Like, I want to see this dude have to like the North Face should put cameras inside the jail, and like we should watch this endurance athlete like have to trade Newports for like granola bars and stuff. Like this. That's what I want to watch.
Do you want to start a marketing agency, like a creative? Because this is a great idea. And if you got more of those,
this is season 3 of PADdyO Sucks At. PaddyO does time.
PaddyO does time. Yeah, there could be that. I don't want to be the guy in jail. But I would watch.
You would do great. You would do fine.
It's an interesting point, though, Justin, about it kind of becoming a racetrack, right? Because I mean, you do hear a lot of these FKT stories, especially on the Teton. And I think I've done like a couple of guided trips on the mountains. I did Rainier, and I'm trying to picture like if you're, a pretty beginner like mountaineer, this is your big lifetime trip. You're like up on the Teton and these switchbacks, and then here comes people just like zooming by you, right? Who are like just going to do this whole thing in 3 months, and I don't know, it definitely ruins the experience. Number one, and I could definitely, the more and more people are coming to do this, the impact is going to become greater if this continues to not get nipped in the bud, right?
I'm of two weird minds about this. One of which is I bristle at the idea of not being able to go off trail. I realize that there are places where it doesn't make sense to go off trail, and if it's a sensitive area and there's already a trail there, this is an area where you shouldn't be going off trail. Like presumably it's really steep, which makes erosion much worse, and if you're making little side trails, like that's not going to help. But generally speaking, I don't love the idea of like getting in trouble for going off trail. Like I tend to feel like we should be able to do that. Like where I live in the watershed area of Mount Tamalpais, it's not like technically illegal to go off trail, but if rangers see you like traipsing around off trail, they'll like stop the truck and like kind of yell at you. And it's like, well, I feel like we should be able to kind of walk around like in nature without it being on a trail. So there's a little part of me that's like, I don't love the idea of off trail hiking being illegal in certain places, but this sounds like it's a place where it makes all the sense in the world for it to be illegal.
Yeah, I mean, if the user amount is as gnarly as a place like like the Tetons, like I totally understand why they would want to do this. Like, I mean, I'm assuming the Grand gets an insane amount of visitors. So if you have just people like constantly just making social trails, like it's going to turn into completely trampled wilderness, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, do you think Sunseri's like puts on his expense report the $5,000 fine to the North Face?
I'm sure the North Face is paying it.
I would hope so.
I would love to find out who pays it. Where the money comes
journalism.
I'll do some journalism. Let me know. And also ask them if you just do the 6 months in jail.
Dude,
I
want to see that.
That would be such an amazing North Face project.
Right?
They just really leaned into that.
Comes out on Disney Plus like next year.
Like they make like a sleeping bag, like the jail edition, and it's like
that
super
would make
cozy,
sense
like
for
bag.
and that would make sense for like like we play different. We go to jail.
Yeah, that's right. We're not afraid.
It's just the black and white stripes on all the products that are in the
line.
line.
We do the crime, we do the time. We play different. You know what I mean?
They're probably listening to the show.
The new North Face shank.
Someone over there
You know what I mean? Like a Gore-Tex shank or something that.
I don't think there's a lot of shanking going on in the Jackson area jail, but maybe. There might be
now.
actually. Yeah.
Not now.
All right, well, next story. We had last month a group led by Jimmy Chin, speaking of the North Face, found some of the remains of famed mountaineer Andrew Sandy Irvine on the Rongbuk Glacier just below Mount Everest's North Face. Irvine's foot, sock, and boot were discovered emerging from the ice. And while there will be DNA testing to confirm the identity of the remains, it is undoubtedly part of George Mallory's climbing partner, lost in the famed 1924 expedition because the sock had A.C. Irvine stitched onto it.
Right there.
I mean, this story's been out for a little while. We haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, Justin, so that's why I want to add it to the outline today. But the only question I have for you guys is, how insanely tough were mountaineers back then, or how soft are they now? Because when you look at the boot that they found, this looks like something you'd see like a barista wearing at my favorite coffee shop.
Yeah.
And this dude is like tromping around at like 28,000 feet.
People paid a lot of money to get stomped on by people wearing boots like this, like in underground nightclubs.
There's another PaddyO Sucks At.
Holy hell! What?
BDSM.
What kind of weird back rooms of the internet are you spending time in? Jesus, I don't know, like who is, more hardcore, like today or in the yesteryears. But this is objectively wild that these dudes just were, they're like had like a length of rope that you would now like find on like a tire swing and like wingtips, and they're like athletic trousers, which were just like thick wool. I mean, it is bonkers. I hope to God that these guys had cameras rolling and are making a film about this, because this is one of the most interesting stories to happen in the outdoors in such a long time. And I can't believe like his initials, like his name was stitched onto this. It's just
so legible. It's like super legible in the photo. It's like bing.
Like this is like if it was a Hollywood movie, if Hollywood produced this movie, you'd be like,
like
come
fuck
on,
off.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Right. Like these are the underpants of Paddy O'Connell. Like, are you
like back from summer camp, Irvine? Like, what are you doing?
I know. But it's like it's so
who's
wild.
doing that? Are we labeling our clothes? Do you have any clothes that have your name on them?
Yes. Oh, I sharpie my name into clothes all the time. I mean, yes, really? If you spend any time in a mountain town and you hang up your like very expensive jacket in the bar, maybe you should have spent a little, like as a 20-year-old, you should have spent time with people who were like, eating gorp for every meal and blacking out in bars on Main
It seems-
Street
it
because
was
they were
helpful
just
to have your
grabbing
name on your
random
jacket.
jackets, and you're like, that jacket has my name in it, bro. Give me that
That's
jacket
awesome.
back. I've
So
lost
that's why
so many jackets.
a lot of people don't know.
but
That's
yes.
why Sandy Irvine had his name in his, because he was,
That's
you know,
right. That's
Mallory's just getting him drunk all the time.
yeah.
That's how he got him to go up the mountain in the first place in those shitty boots. It's like, hey man, keep
I mean,
drinking
it's
this.
wild. It's wild that this has happened. I mean, this is and like any article that you read when you're hearing about like the actual moments of it, like I hope to God that there's a film that comes out of this, because it seems so wild and rich with story, and there's so much history here. This is super cool. Super cool.
We published an account from like Conrad Anchor, and I forget who else was on it when they found Mallory. In AJ, like they had, I don't remember if it was like voice recordings. I guess it must have been. It was like a transcript of them like trying to figure out how to get down to the body and like confirming that it was Mallory, and it was pretty powerful. That was in like, I don't know, a few issues back. So yeah, I'm sure something like that would be pretty incredible. But I mean, if Chin's there's got to be video.
Right? Hopefully.
It does confirm, though, and we've talked about this on the show before, Justin, that like there's no scarier place in the entire world than Mount Everest. At any point, there's like a dead body,
There's bodies
piles of shit. Here's a foot. I mean, it's just there is no weirder, scarier place than Mount Everest.
Yeah, it is kind of strange how people who otherwise probably are never in contact with anything like that otherwise are just like, oh, here's a human foot coming out of the snow. I mean, if I saw like a foot just around, I don't care how old it is, I'd be pretty wigged out for a while. And like we have climbers that are just like, oh yeah, you hang a left at that like corpse, you know, it's just and they're just like
green boots or whatever, yellow boots or whatever the guy's name is.
It'd be like paddling. It'd be like if you're paddling out for surf somewhere and like the like decaying bodies that have been eaten by sharks in the area are just like on the beach
around,
and you're just like,
this conversation is making me feel unwell now.
Yeah.
Well, we established on your TV show you throw up a lot, so we got to. We should move on. Well, let's keep the positive stories going here by a new deep dive into mosquitoes and black flies that was on Explorer's Web. It talks about the habits and history of two notorious outdoor tormentors. For example, a mosquito can drink up to 3 times its body weight in blood, but it would take more than 1 million bites to drink all of the blood in an adult human.
That's cool.
But did you know black flies, they won't bite when indoors. So if they're in your tent or house, they're actually become a non-issue. That's interesting. But I mean, Paddy, let's just ask you, is there a bigger deterrent than going outside than biting insects? Like I'll watch like a PCT through hike videos and think it looks cool until I see them all like in full body netting. I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
The nets, head to toe nets, like body suit nets. Yeah, I would say, especially considering my blood type is sausage gravy, like bugs love me. I would rather deal with rain. I'd rather deal with wind, crazy sideways grapple like on a ridgeline than bugs. I once did a gigantic hike of the White Rim Trail, and like on I think it was like second to last day, we were getting closer to like Green River, right? We're getting closer to like stagnant water as well,
right?
And the amount, I've never seen a cloud of bugs like this. I mean, it was like pterodactyl sized bugs that were coming to attack us. And it was, I mean, we were also hiking at like 4 a.m. because, or like 2 a.m.
and you're
or something like that.
I'm in Utah. And
because it was the middle of the summer.
I would not think of bugs there at all.
Yeah. But point being, like we were hiking in like 115 degree heat at like 2 a.m. Like it was insanity. Like you could like literally boil water on the rock. It was brutal. And I'd rather deal with that than these bugs. Like bugs, no thank you. It is the worst. I think number one deterrent to doing hardcore things outside or any core things outside would be bugs.
Yeah. It's the only thing. It's the only thing I've encountered that ends a trip prematurely. Like I've never had like an injury and had to leave or anything like that. But I have straight up left like a backpacking trip because there were too many bugs. Just like I'm done. I agree. It could have snowed unexpectedly. I would have dealt with it. It could have. Yeah. I've had to like break into my own bear canister before because like the lid wouldn't come off, and I would I'm not going home. I'm figuring this out. Right. Like burn the thing open to get into the food. Like I've had lots of like random things, or like break a boot and just like, well, I'm one boot, one sandal. But like bugs, I would leave. I would just go home.
For sure. Same. Which is hilarious that a little itty bitty thing like can be the Jenga piece that topples your like outdoorsy grittiness.
It's also something that you don't think about that much. You know, it'd be like, I'll be like, okay, this is I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go. This is where I'm gonna go. But like, oh fuck, bugs. And you're just like, never mind. It's just I can't. Like this is bug time. Can't go. This is the time for the. It's their time. That's their time. You know, they deserve it. Like I don't know what do they do in the winter. Nobody knows. I actually wrote an article.
I've woken up in my tent before. Like scratching my like feet and ankles raw because of bug bites. Like I just did that in my sleep, and I was just like, I'm sad. I'm so sad right now that there's no way for me to have any fun here.
I'd actually like to, if there's anybody out there listening who they really can deal with bugs, I would like, because I agree with everything you guys are saying. And even if someone says, hey, it's probably gonna be pretty bad buggy wise, like let's go somewhere else. Like I don't even want to like risk dealing with the bugs.
Same.
So if there's anybody that's like, nah, it's okay. I'm happy to back.
I would love to hear.
Nobody like that exists.
They do. People manage it better than
I would love to hear the person who's like, I'd rather deal with rain. I'd rather deal with bugs than rain or snow or something. Like what?
Well, there are. I mean, I do think that I've read things before about like some people are just for whatever reason less like they don't get as irritated by the biting. But that's the thing. Biting sucks. But I also just don't want them. I just don't want them
flying on my face.
I don't want them
I'll give some bites. It's just yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, myrockfight@gmail.com if you're that person. All right. Well, we got one more story before we get into our parting shots. And we're pretty excited because Pickleball Corner is back. It's been a minute since we had Pickleball Corner on. And there's only one reason I want to bring this up, but there's an article this week in SGB.
Pickleball sound in when you do that, like the sound of.
We need to like a dink, dink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week was announced that indoor pickleball proprietor, the Pickler is expanding into Canada, where they plan to open 65 locations across the country, starting in Toronto in 2025. Paddy, you're about to be a father. Would you send your child to a place called the Pickler?
Only because I want a T-shirt that says that. I think yes, absolutely. I think the name The Pickler is the best thing to happen to the outdoors.
Is it better than the Trofler?
The invention of Gore-Tex. Like this is the best.
The Pickler works with the Trofler, right? That's like they're like Toady or something.
You go to, after you win at the Pickler, you go to the Trofler.
Yes, exactly. See, I'm way into this. I'm pro pickleball. I think it is a hilarious and fun game. I grew up playing tennis, and I love pickleball. It's hilarious. I need to go back to school and learn more about math before I know how the scoring works in pickleball. But just playing, like smacking that little wiffle ball around is so much fun.
Do you played tennis to like how seriously did you play?
When I was a kid, like probably every summer before I went to high school and started playing like football and lacrosse.
Okay.
But like we would basically play pickleball, but we called it dink. We would just like, and it was a way to work on like your volley, like your network, you know, and we would just do that. So it's like not super crazy. This is like, like shrunken version of tennis. We would just do that and we would have like tournaments, dink tournaments. Like when we were little, it was super fun. So yeah, I'm pro pickleball. I think they should do more stuff like the Pickler. I want pickle juice. I want like extreme pickling.
It's
like
too
I want
close to the diddler. I'm sorry. I think diddler. Like I just like that's all I hear. Like
that's why it works so well. This is great.
Are you pro diddler?
I'm pro weird, funny names. and pickleball by itself is just like I love that a sport was invented and they were like, what do we call it? Pickleball? Yeah, absolutely. That's great. First shot, like one shot, one kill there. Thanks a lot for naming this, Greg.
I see. I think it sounds like that sport where you could wear Crocs playing it. So I don't know how you make these two views line up that you're anti-Crocs but pro pickleball. I feel like there's a Venn diagram.
If somebody showed up to the pickleball court in Crocs, they'd be like, this tracks. I'm cool with it.
This is how Crocs are going to win you over. They're going to wear you down.
Yeah, probably. I'm pro pickleball. I mean, you guys should play. It's hilarious. It's the funniest thing. You can't not giggle while you play it. I think it's more hilarious to like watch people like take it very seriously. Yeah. No, I think trying hard. I'm all about trying hard, but I'm not about like being overly serious about this objectively ridiculously hilarious sport. I mean, this is to me when people like the idea that this is like a professional sport or like taken very seriously is like when you watch like on ESPN 57 or whatever, like a tetherball, like professional tetherball, or like there's like like a professional cornhole.
Yeah, there is
league, like bags league, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I mean, again, great game, super fun, hilarious time to have with your friends and family playing this backyard Olympic sport. But it's a game, and it should be ridiculous and should not be taken seriously.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our parting shots.
Pickler.
This episode of The Rock Fight is brought to you by the Great Malden Outdoors, an outdoor enablement campaign in the city of Malden, Massachusetts. For far too long, the outdoor industry has struggled with how to address the topics of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the Great Malden Outdoors is providing concrete action that outdoor brands and retailers can take to make a real difference. Situated just outside of Boston, Malden, Massachusetts is culturally diverse with an abundance of outdoor recreational opportunities, and they're seeking the assistance of outdoor brands and retailers. If you work at an outdoor brand or at a retail shop, they're looking for donations, looking for your product, maybe your time, definitely some of your money. Head to thegreatmaldenOutdoors.com and click contact to reach out and start a partnership today. All right, we're back with the parting shot. Now, Paddy, you're our guest. You can go first, or do you want to hear how we do our parting shots before you dig into yours, or do you want to go first?
Oh, can you do yours first? I want to see kind of what the tone, what the vibe is, what the tone is.
Justin, you want to go, or you want me to go?
You go. You got a whole long thing written out here. You
I
go.
do. All right, so my parting shot today is I'm demanding justice for Waldorf and Statler. Last week, Justin and I were at an outdoor media event, and twice we found ourselves in the enviable position of sitting in the balcony of two different buildings looking down at all the other attendees. And I repeatedly kept trying to make Statler and Waldorf jokes to Justin and anyone else that would listen. And it's sad and embarrassing because no one got them, mostly for me, that it was sad and embarrassing. So I'm here to reclaim the legendary status of the Muppets Statler and Waldorf, who were designed by Bonnie Erickson and made their debut on The Muppet Show during the year of my birth, 1975. Statler and Waldorf were named after two landmark New York City hotels, the Statler Hilton and Waldorf Astoria. They've appeared in all the major Muppet movies and shows and movies. They split duty for the ghost of Jacob Marley and the Muppets Christmas Carol, a beloved film. Not really one of my favorites, but still, I get it. And they were adults on Muppet Babies. They were in Pixar shorts. They've been in a Weezer video. They've also appeared on WWE Raw and Family Guy. And most of all, they're one of the funniest parts of one of the funniest franchises ever. Their names and jokes are iconic and deserve to be recognized as such. Oh, I said suck. As such, I'm here for justice. All of you need to know and respect Statler and Waldorf, if for no other reason, so that I can make jokes about it when I'm sitting in a balcony with my friend, Justin Hausman.
Oh,
that's my parting shot.
I know we're not supposed to talk about I know we're not supposed to talk about the parting shots, Colin, but I have to ask, Paddy, do you know what the fuck he's talking about?
Yeah, only because I love the Muppets, but
you wouldn't know their name though, right?
That's like I feel like with any joke, if the audience doesn't get it, it's more on the joke teller.
Yeah,
it is
than the audience. I mean, the setup needs, because it's kind of it's not Miss Piggy or Kermit, so it's kind of a little bit of a deep cut.
It's a deep cut
for the Muppets, but I do love Statler and Waldorf. So
listen, all the millennials on this call,
yeah,
all right, who don't know, I'm including you, Justin. All right,
my parting shot this week is if you're gonna make an obscure cultural reference, you know, you do your homework first, I guess. Did I freeze?
You froze up while you're breaking my balls.
Fucking damn it. My parting shot was going to be no obscure cultural references, just generally speaking, because nobody, you know, it's just awkward for everybody. I've tried to do this, you know, but it's just nobody, because then you're like, you have to explain the joke, you have to explain, and maybe they don't even have, they may have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I was embarrassed. It was frustrating. I didn't like it. Yeah. I want everyone to know who they are so I can make the joke. This is my goal. So I think my parting shot is going to be a repeat. I hope it's okay to do that, but I feel like it needs to be heard again. And I'm going to strip it down even more simple than the first time, which is stop. Just, you don't know when someone's watching something. Stop it. Stop it with the text messages about sporting events. You did this like 2 weeks ago.
I know, but it's happening. It's still happening. This is coming up now. A lot of my text message threads where people are like, it's finally culturally coming to a head now where people are like, look, I don't watch this shit live. Stop it. Like I'm engaged in multiple text threads right now with people that are like, dude, you've got to cut it out. I get that you're like home watching. Yes. And it's just people need to stop doing this.
That's a tough ask. They made it to the World Series, so anybody who knows you and knows you're a Dodgers fan is
that's
probably
fine. I'm not talking
out.
about like the day after, but like, and it just keeps happening. And like people I know that don't even they're like kind of aware of like baseball, like, oh, you must be watching the Dodger game. It's like, just stop. You don't know when people are watching things. Just please don't. Just please don't. Let us watch our games on our own time in peace.
All right, that's the last time you're allowed to do that parting shot, though. That's it.
Okay.
By the way, you did have an impact because I didn't text you at all about sports.
Yeah, it worked. So I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to spread it more. I don't think people realize quite how important this is.
All right, Paddy, you're up. What's your parting shot?
Well, friends, mine might be a little long, but I feel strongly about this. The air is getting crispy, leaves are falling, peaks are frosted, which signals the greatest time of year is quickly approaching. That's right, ski season. And I'd like to take this opportunity to make an ask of all Mountain Town folks. Can we please, oh please, dear Lord, drop the Loke Dog localism BS. The bumper stickers and general attitude of my life is your vacation and I live where you remotely work is so lame and so unhelpful. Stop it. You sound like a cranky, crusty old turd. Now, I'm not saying that mountain towns aren't in a hard place right now. It's probably the hardest it's ever been to live in the mountains. Housing insecurity, unlivable wages, work shortages, the climate crisis. These are all very real issues, but it's completely absurd to get angry at folks for moving to and or visiting the place that you once visited and decided to move to. It's insane and completely ego-driven to think that the last time anyone should have moved to your town was the minute you arrived. You were the problem for some old, grizzled, crusty local when you moved to town, and I bet you didn't like getting told you suck by some geezer. But PaddyO, it's different now. It's so crowded. You don't like crowds? You are crowds, man. Walking through a door and then slamming it behind you is decidedly uncool. And the same thing goes for the drop your wallet off on Main Street and get the hell out of town mentality. That is bullshit. Mountain towns need tourism and need folks moving in. And we need folks to help with sustainable growth policies and practices, not some bros and bras talking about how sick it used to be here. If you don't like the direction your town is headed, stop talking and start walking. Write op-eds for your paper, join community programs, attend town council meetings, vote, run for office for a position in the town or the county. Do something. Change is not the problem. Resistance to change is the real issue. Also, don't let your crustiness F up other people's day. Remember to thank your frontline workers like lifties, groomers, snowmakers, patrollers, waitstaff, and everyone else who truly turn the gears of a mountain town. Localism is just blue-collar NIMBYism. Please don't be a goggle-tanned NIMBY. You may think you're being funny or helpful like Statler and Waldorf the Muppets, but you really just got something stuck up your ass. Happy winter, everyone.
That was great, Paddy.
Well done. Well done.
That's my rant.
We're going to cut little clips of that and just randomly play it in places.
Yeah.
That was great. And I agree with you. That the sort of my your vacation is my life t-shirts and those kinds of things are just like thank you.
You know what I thought those were super cool? When I was 13 and I had lived at the beach for 6 months. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like I need that shirt. So I'm assuming everybody that's wearing that shit has lived there for 6 months.
Yeah, they're awesome when you know you're a poser and you're afraid of people finding out that you're going to be a poser, that you're already a poser.
It just doesn't make any sense, to be like, it's never sat well with me, this whole thing of like, dude, when I moved here, it was cool and now it sucks. It's like, well, then move. If you want to be so altruistic about the spirit of the town, move out of the town.
Look at the parting shot, though. We got an original PaddyO essay out of the parting shot today, guys. That's a win.
I
your
got
fingers
fired
still.
up.
You've been on TV. Do your fingers still work? Are you still writing? I mean,
I always write. That's the thing. Like, you got to write the VO.
Yeah, you got to write the VO.
I'm never not writing. I just have a typewriter in my brain at all times, my friend.
All right, guys. Well, we can wrap it up there. The Rock Fight is a production of Rock Fight LLC. For Justin Hausman and our guest host, PaddyO. I'm Colin True. Thanks for listening. And he's back to take us out. Krista Makes is here. He's going to sing the Rock Fight fight song. We'll see you next time, Rock Fighters.
Rock Fight.